President, please be seated. The court is back in session. Before I give the floor to the co-prosecutor, the Chamber would like to make an oral ruling on Nguyen Chia request for clarification on whether the Khmer Krom are included as a targeted group in case 002/02. On 5th of March 2015, following the disclosure of evidence pertaining to the Khmer Krom from cases 03 and 04, the Nguyen Chia defense requested that the trial chamber assure the parties that the Khmer Krom will not be included as a quasi-targeted group in case 002/02 trial, document E319/16. During the trial management meeting on the same day, the Nguyen Chia defense reiterated its requests, and the co-prosecutors and the international lead co-lawyer for the civil parties responded. In considering the request, the trial chamber has had regard to all relevant factual and legal findings in the closing order included within the scope of case 002/02. The chamber hereby rules that 1. Case 002/02 does not include charges relating to the targeting of the Khmer Krom as a specific group, that is, persecution as a crime against humanity or genocide of the Khmer Krom. No party has requested to recharacterize any factual allegations within the scope of case 002/02 to include counts of persecution or genocide directed at the Khmer Krom as a distinct group. 2. The Chamber will continue to assess evidence on a case-by-case basis in accordance with the ECCC legal framework. As a general guideline, where evidence is proposed or discussed in court which appears to relate solely to the targeting of the Khmer Krom and to be exclusively relevant to the establishment of the elements of persecution as a crime against humanity or genocide against the Khmer Krom, it will be deemed not relevant and will not be allowed. 3. Evidence pertaining to the Khmer Krom may nonetheless be relevant to other issues in case 002/02, such as the historical and political context of the case or to other crimes which are charged, and certain of the victims happen to be Khmer Krom, and as such may be admissible. However, the Chamber requests that the parties focus on leading evidence which most strongly pertains to the charges at issue in case 002/02. While the Chamber will not exclude witness or civil party testimony which touches upon the fact that an individual is Khmer Krom insofar as it is relevant to other issues within the scope of case 002/02. This should not be the focus of counsel's questioning, as the targeting of Khmer Krom is not charged in this case. And now the floor is given to the National Deputy Co-Prosecutor to put the question to this witness. Co-Prosecutor. Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, Madam Witness. This morning, you stated that you were assigned to work, and also you were assigned to meet the quota of 1 cubic meter per day. Who sets that quota? Answer: it was set by a unit chief. He sets the quota of 1 cubic meter per day. Question: on what basis was the quota set? Whether it was on race, gender, or it was set equally? Witness: the quota was set equally for everyone. Question: what about you? Could you meet the work quota? Witness: yes, I try to meet the quota, otherwise I would be punished. Question: the International Deputy Co-Prosecutor will focus on this later, and I would like to continue my line of questioning. During the time that you were working at the dam site, had you ever encountered any accident at the dam site? Answer: sometime when I was carrying earth and I took a shelter at one particular place, and there was soil collapse, and people may have died because of soil collapse. Question: did you witness this by yourself? Answer: I witnessed this by myself. Question: did it happen in your group or unit, or did it happen elsewhere? Answer: it happened elsewhere, not in my unit. Question: in document D 166/38, EON in Khmer is at 002399 30 through 31. EON in English is at 0024 41 64. EON in French is at 0028 39 09. You stated as follows, quote, there were 2 meals per day, and there was dessert once every 10 days. As for the special mobile units, they let us eat rice, but they distributed the food rations. They did not allow us to eat freely. Anyone who normally ate little got their fill, but anyone who ate a lot did not get their fill. There was morning glory soup almost every single day, and it was mixed with a little bit of fish. It was not even equal to the gruel for figs these days. Unquote. Concerning this statement, in your special mobile unit, they let us eat right. What does this mean? Did any other mobile unit have right to eat? Answer: we receive the same food ration. Others units receive the same food ration. Question. In your statement, you stated, quote, anyone who ate little got their fill, but anyone who ate a lot did not get their fill, unquote. What do you mean by saying this? Answer. Those who ate a lot did not get their fill, and anyone ate little, they got their fill. Question. What about you? Did you have your fill? Answer. I could eat my fill, but for those who ate a lot, they could not eat their fill. Question. You also stated that it was not even equal to the growth of pigs this day. Did you refer to the quantity of food ration, or did you refer to quality of food, or did you refer to hygiene? Answer. There was morning glory with a little bit of fish, and the food was served to workers during that period. Question. In your statement, you stated that there was morning glory soup with a little bit of fish, and it was not even equal to the growth for pigs this day. I would like to know whether you wanted to say that there was a very little of meal, or were you referring to the hygiene or quantity of meal at that time? Witness, I do not get your question. Please repeat it. Question. You made a comparison between the food ration on that day with that of these days, and you stated that the food ration was not even equal to the growth for pigs this day. What do you mean by saying this? You wanted to make a comparison in relation to the quantity of food, quality of it, or hygiene of it. Do you understand my question, madam? Answer. As for growth for pigs this day, we put so many things in the gruel, and during that period, morning glory soup consisted of only a little bit fish. Question. You stated also in your written record that, quote, anyone who ate little got their fill, but anyone who ate a lot did not get their fill, unquote. Did anyone steal food? Answer. Those who stole food, they were arrested for refashion. Because they stole the food, they could only had for him or herself, but others did not have food to eat. Question. My question is that, did anyone steal food during that time? Answer. Yes, there were people stealing food. And as I said, those who stole food, they were sent for refashion. Question. Did anyone complain about food provided to them? Answer. No one dared complain. because everyone was afraid that they were taken to be killed. Co-prosecutor, thank you very much, Madam Witness, for answering my question. Mr. President, I conclude my line of questioning, and my colleagues have a further question to put to this witness. President, you may now proceed. International Deputy Co-Prosecutor.
Merci et bonjour.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. President, Your Honors, and all the parties. And good afternoon to you, Madam Witness. I am Vincent de Wilde. I will also put some questions to you, still with regard to what happened at the 1st January dam. May I request you to respond to my questions as sincerely and as completely as possible? I would like you to respond as briefly as possible and avoid giving details that are not called for. As a follow-up to what my colleague said a while ago, I would revisit living conditions at the 1st January dam. You said a while ago that when you were thirsty, some of your colleagues in your mobile group gave you some water. What access did the workers have to drinking water? Was there sufficient drinking water for you to be able to quench your thirst while you were working?
Answer. We had our fear, and the person in the mobile unit was assigned to collect the water, and after we drank the water, we continue our work.
Est-ce que vous avez vu si...
Did you notice whether the workers sometimes drink water from the river when they were too thirsty?
Answer. Yes, everyone drank that water from the river. There was no other source of water, but only from the river.
Est-ce que ce n'était pas dangereux pour...
Was it not risky for your health to drink water from the river? Wouldn't you have fallen sick, for instance?
Yes, some were contacted with dysentery because they drank water which was not boiled.
Je voudrais revenir alors à la...
I'd like us to talk about the food you ate. You said you were fed, but the question of food was not one of quantity but of variety. Did you feel strong enough after eating to do the work you had to do from very early in the morning and far into the night?
Answer. We had no strength and energy, but we had to try to carry earth, otherwise we would be taken for refashion.
Est-ce que vous-même et vos collègues...
Did you yourself and your colleagues become skinny in the course of the work you did on that 1st January dam work site?
Answer. I myself was getting skinnier because I was undernourishment. We had worked too hard. Even though we got our field, we still got thinner.
Est-ce que vous pourriez décrire le...
Can you describe to us where you were housed and what it was built of and how many people slept in that house?
Answer. The place where we stayed, it was the roof was made from sides, and the wall was made from a little stick, and we were told to sleep in the open air with no mosquito nets.
Est-ce que le toit en chaume
Since your roof was thatched, didn't it rain on you at night?
Answer. If there was heavy rain, everyone got soaked.
est-ce que vous êtes arrivé de tomber malade parce que
Did it happen that you fell sick because you were drenched by the rain at night?
Sometime I got a cold and I could not go to work, but I had to try my best to carry earth, otherwise I would be taken away for refashion.
vous avez dit qu'il n'y avait pas de moustiquaires?
You stated that there were no mosquito nets. Were you often bitten by mosquitoes and other insects as a result of that? And as a result, did people fall sick of malaria?
Answer. There was no mosquito. President, please hold on, Madam Witness. You may now proceed, Mr. Kope.
I object to this question. First, of relevance. I get bitten all the time by mosquitoes in Phnom Penh. Secondly, this witness is not able to say whether somebody, because he or she was bitten by a mosquito, then subsequently developed malaria that is way beyond her capacity. So I object on two grounds to this specific question.
Monsieur le Président, je ne crois
Mr. President, I do not think that they've asked defense to testify as to whether they whether they were bitten by mosquitoes. Secondly, we know that malaria can be contracted from mosquito bites, and that is why I think this question is in order.
President, the objection of the defense counsel is overruled. The question is appropriate and is allowed to put to this witness. The chamber needs to hear the answer from the witness. And Madam Witness, please respond to the question by the co-prosecutor, if you may recall. Witness, could you repeat your question, please?
Je la répète.
I will repeat it. Since there were no mosquito nets, were you bitten by mosquitoes, and as a result, did you and your colleagues fall sick of malaria?
Answer. Some people had malaria. When we got many mosquito bites, we collected rubbish and burned to scare away mosquitoes.
Est-ce qu'il y avait des latrines qui étaient...
Were there any latrines adjacent to your lodgings, or you had to relieve yourself in the bushes?
Answer. We relieved ourselves in the forest. There was no proper toilet. And for this reason, there were many flies, and people fell sick, and they got dysentery. Some people in the mobile units fell sick. They had fever and dysentery because there were many mosquitoes. There were many flies, rather.
And at night, were you able to recover enough and to sleep enough to be in good shape and ready to for a long day or for many hours of work before the first meal of the day at around 12?
Answer: we did not have enough sleep. The whistle was blown at 3 a.m. in the morning to awake us to work, because everyone was required to work at the 1st January dam. It was the hot battlefield.
Journée.
How would you imagine to stand all of this, and by getting up so early in the morning and working straight until about 12? Can you explain to us what were the hardships of working under those conditions?
Even if when we were sick, we had to go to work. Otherwise, we will be sent for refashioning. If we were to be absent from work, then we will be punished. We will be deprived of our food.
Did you sometimes try to complete your diet by picking fruit, by catching insects or frogs?
Yes, I did. When I returned from carrying earth, I picked 3 leaves. Then I soaked those leaves and put a little bit of salt, and then I use it as my supplementary diet to the food I was given. And in the morning, when the whistle was blown, I would eat the leftover rice with the 3 leaves mixed with salt that I prepared from the previous day, and then I would go for the earth carrying task.
And did Angkar allow you to pick these leaves, or were you taking a risk in doing that?
President, witness, please hold on, and Councillor Copper, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. In this specific phrasing of the question, I have a problem. The prosecution can ask who forbid something or who instructed, but not sort of in general terms refer to Angkar. Angkar is sometimes referred to as an organization, that is true, but here we have a very specific situation on the ground where her unit chief, who has a name, I'm sure, could have said or ordered or instructed something. In this particular case, the way the word Angkar is used is something I object to.
Well, I will then rephrase my question. Well, were you therefore allowed to pick these leaves, or were you taking a risk when you would pick these leaves?
Of course, I secretly picked the leaves and pocketed them without allowing anyone to see it. Yeah.
Fine. Now let me speak about health and about sanitation in particular. And you already said that many workers became ill, that there was dysentery, malaria.
And was there also cholera? Was cholera also rife on the 1 January dam worksite?
Yes, there were many cases of dysentery, and that's due to the excess number of flies. And because of the hot weather, we consumed quite a lot of water.
So, thus, did some people die because of these illnesses, whether in your group or even beyond your group?
President, witness, please wait, and Councillor Copper, you have the floor.
I object to this question because the witness is in no position to say whether somebody died of a certain disease. She's not a medical expert, nor did she work as a nurse or a medic. So this is beyond her capacity as a witness.
Mr. President, I believe that this objection is not justified. She spent time working on a dam, and she spoke about the diseases. She is an adult person, and she knew what the conditions were like on site, so you do not need to be a doctor to know whether or not people died. And I think, therefore, that my question is justified, especially since the witness already spoke about this before the co-investigating judges.
President, the objection by the defense team is overruled as the chamber needs to hear the response from the witness. And Madam Witness, please respond to the last question.
I will repeat my question. So, because of the illnesses that were rife on the worksite, did people in your group or in other groups die because of these illnesses?
Yes, there were many instances where people died from dysentery.
And in terms of the care that was provided back then, was there any medical staff on site? And what means did they have to face all of these illnesses?
There were some medical staff from the village who walk around and who would provide some tablets or injections to those workers who felt ill. The injection included the B1 and B2. And as for the tablets, they gave tablets to workers. They were in the form of the rapid drop pellets. And there was no proper setup for a medical unit.
And was this care sufficient against dysentery, against malaria, against cholera?
Some workers recovered, while others unfortunately died. Of course, it was not as effective as the treatment nowadays.
I have a question that might be a little bit embarrassing, but I hope you can answer it. This is a question that regards female hygiene. And back then, at the work site, women who were menstruating could they enjoy specific hygiene measures, such as hygienic napkins or clothes or clean water to wash?
អត់មានផង
No, there was none. There was nothing valuable. We only have a piece of cloth for our monthly menstrual cycle. There was no proper sanitary pad.
Je voudrais vous
Now, I'd like to read out what a witness T2CW896 stated. He was a driver and a member of Kip Bok's family, and he traveled to the 1 January dam worksite. And let me read out what he said regarding this, and I'm going to ask you what you think about this. It is document E3/5264 on page 4 in French, page 5 in English, and pages 5 and 6 in Khmer. And this is what this witness says, and I will quote, "Back then, there were thousands of people who were working hard, in particular women. And when they were menstruating, they had no water to wash. Some had their rear end invaded by flies. There were many, many flies on the worksite, as many as bees." End of quote, free translation. So, did you see the same thing regarding women that this witness described, also regarding the flies?
បង
I didn't see any bees, but there were many flies. You could see like a dark cloud of flies. And when we went to relieve ourselves near the forest, there were too many flies. And also when we were having our lunch, many flies would just surround us. Sometimes we had to eat far from the kitchen in order to avoid the cloud of flies. So there was no hygiene at all at the work site.
I will get back to follow-up questions in relation to what you said when you answered my colleague. You constantly were speaking about a special mobile unit which was yours. So how was this unit special in relation to the other units?
At the 1st January dam, everyone in the workforce belongs to the special mobile units because that was a hot battlefield. And we all were working under the same condition.
Vous avez dit
You also said in your written record of interview, it's at the second answer that you provided, you said that your chief was called Niri Nay, and that she hanged herself. So can you tell us if Niri May remained your unit chief when you worked at the 1 and 6 January work sites?
Yes.
Pouvez-vous nous dire
Can you tell us if she hanged herself when the work was going on, or did this happen afterwards?
It happened after 1979. Actually, she drank alcohol and she got drunk and then she hanged herself to death.
Fine. So, according to what you learned on site when you worked on the 1 January dam, or according to what you were told, was this dam on the Chinit River an imposing work? Was it something that was a priority project for your sector or for the North Zone?
I did not know about that, but people were gathered from within the north zone to come and work at that work site, and I learned of that information through meetings.
And when you said that people came from the North Zone, do you mean that they came from all sectors that compose the North Zone? And if that is the case, can you give us the names of these sectors?
I do not know about the names of the sectors, but in the meetings we were told that all the people from the North Zone that came to work at the first January Dam work site. And that information was repeated every time I attended the meeting.
And was this dam supposed to be built swiftly? Were there strict deadlines that had been set by the leaders?
I do not know about that. When I finished my work at the first January Dam, then I was assigned to work at the 6th January Dam work site. However, at the second work site, it was not considered a hotter battlefield, as we did not have to work at night. And we were given a similar food ration. And we were assigned only to work during the day and the afternoon, and we were allowed to rest at night.
So, can we say that at the 1 January Dam, you were under a lot of pressure because you also had to work at night? Is that indeed the case?
We were forced to work hard at the first January Dam work site, but not at the 6th January Dam work site, although we were assigned a cubic meter as a work ration. However, the soil condition at the 6th January Dam work site was better, as it was composed of sand, so it was rather loose and we could complete the work quota earlier.
Fine, I will get back to this issue of the quality of the soil later. But did you know the head of the zone back then? Do you know who it was? And did he often come to the work site, to the 1 January Dam work site?
I heard that Kaipro was the zone committee, and for the sector committee, his name was Un. Allow me to say that I only heard about that through announcement during the meeting, and each time they came by a speedboat to the meeting at the work site. We were asked to stand along the embankment of the dam in order to greet those leaders, but I was far from them and I could only see them from a distance, so their faces were unclear to me.
So, but I was part of which sector? Maybe you do not know the names of all of the sectors in the zone, but with regard to your sector, did it have a special number?
No, I do not know. I did not hear people talking about the number for the sector.
Fine. So before Un, was there someone else who performed the same duties as he?
not know. And I only recall the name through the announcement at the first January dam, and I did not know who was before in that position.
Did you see leaders in your Barai district or people from the district committee come to visit or inspect the 1 January dam?
No, I did not.
ខ្ញុំឃើញតែប្រធានភូមិភាគ
As I said earlier, I only saw the zone committee and the sector committee coming to visit the work site, and I did not see the district committee. And I knew about the zone and the sector committees through the announcement during the meeting at the work site.
Did you learn if the zone and district committees were sometimes accompanied by foreign cadres?
I saw some female Chinese coming along with Cheng In Kui, and that Cheng In Kui was Chinese, and we were asked to go and greet them at the 6th January dam work site, from my recollection. And of course, I heard about the name Cheng In Kui during the announcement at the work site, and there were many Chinese females coming along with him.
So during the visit of these Chinese cadres, did you receive any particular instructions in terms of how you should behave when they would arrive on site? Did you receive any kinds of directions, any kinds of instructions on what you had to do when they would be there?
ចាគេឲ្យ
We were instructed to greet them, and only some were assigned to do so, and the rest they had to continue working. And then our unit chief instructed those at the work sites to work quicker, so that it seems that we were very active during the Chinese delegation visit.
And were you given similar instructions upon other occasions when other visitors were coming, not necessarily foreign? Did you receive similar instructions, that is to say, to work very, very fast? Did you receive similar instructions at other moments?
Only when the Chinese delegation came, we were asked to work quicker, but usually we worked in a normal pace because the 6th January dam work site was not a hot battlefield.
Well, now I'm going to try to get back to the period when you worked on the 1 January work site, and you said earlier on that this was in 1977, but you were not able to provide us with the month. So can you, however, tell me, when you started working on the 1 January work site, was it during the dry season or was it during the rainy season?
It was during the dry season, as the weather was hot, and of course we could only dig the ground during a dry season, and that task would be much more difficult if it were to be done during the rainy season.
And when you arrived on the 1 January work site, did the work already start? Or were you among the first groups working on that dam?
My mobile unit was the first to arrive at the work site, and then more mobile units would arrive from various other districts or communes, and then they continued working from where we started. So there were many forces coming from various other districts.
And if you were there since the start, therefore, did you work for several months on the 1 January worksite? Is that the case, or can you correct me?
Yes, that is correct.
ខ្ញុំមិនដឹង
However, I cannot recall when the work was started or when it was completed.
And do you remember a ceremony that took place when the work started to launch the work on that dam?
To me, it seems there was no ceremony or any celebration. There were only meetings held at the work site.
Merci.
Thank you. Now, with regard to your transfer to the 6 January dam, can you tell us for how long approximately you worked on the 6 January dam? Was it up until when the Vietnamese arrived? Or if I understood well, was it until the time when you got married?
I don't recall in which month or year I was transferred to the work at the 6 January dam work site. However, I became sick. Then I was sent for treatment back at the village. I failed at the river, so I couldn't carry any soil and I could not walk. Then I was put on a tractor to return to the village, and I did not know when it was completed, although I knew it was completed during the regime.
So can we say that you also worked for a long time at the 6 January worksite, or was it for a short period of time?
It was quite a long time at the work site.
ប៉ុន្តែខ្ញុំទៅធ្វើ6 មករា
However, when I started working at the 6 January dam, it was almost toward the end of the dry season, and then I continued working through the rainy season, as we had also to carry soil during the rainy season, if my recollection is right.
So you worked for a very long time on the 6 January work site. Were there many like you who worked so long, or was there a rotation system in place? Let's say people who would come and who would leave after a few months.
No. As I said, I was part of the special mobile unit, and we were always assigned to work at these so-called battlefields.
So among the workers at the 1 January worksite, was there a majority of people who were base people? And can you tell us if there were also many new people?
There was a mixture of the new and the old people, and we were working together.
And did these new people arrive after the cities were evacuated, or later, let's say in 76 or 1977?
please repeat your question.
ស្ដាប់អត់ទាន់
Est-ce que les gens
Yes. Did the new people arrive at Kompong Thom and Kompong Cham after the cities were evacuated? That is to say, around April or May 1975. Or did they arrive 1 or 2 years after that?
Immediately upon their arrival, those people were assigned to work at the work sites, and they were working, mixing with the best people.
Est-ce qu'il y avait également des gens qui appartenaient à
Were there also people who were members of the Cham Islam, so to speak?
មាន
Yes, there were Cham people working with us. However, those Cham people had been evacuated from the east zone, that is from Kampong Cham, and they were assigned to work in the mobile units together, working with us. They were actually transported to Prey Sandai Pagoda, and the situation there was rather overcrowded, and later on they were sent to various villages and assigned to work in the various mobile units.
Et enfin, pour en terminer avec la
And lastly, regarding the composition of the groups working on the site, were they also soldiers, members of the Revolutionary Army, who assisted you in the construction of the dam?
It seems there were none. However, there was presence of our soldiers who were watching over us. They would watch us when we went to relieve ourselves in the bushes, but I did not see soldiers assisting us in our work. They were over guarding the work site in order to get us back to work if we were to rest under a tree or stay too long relieving ourselves in the forest.
Pour en revenir aux horaires de travail,
Let us return to working hours. Did you occasionally get a day's rest? And if so, how regularly?
We were allowed to rest every 10 days, and on the 10 days, dessert was served.
នៅសហករណ៍ក៏ចឹងដែរ
And the same practice applied at the cooperative. That is, every 10th day, a dessert was made, and we were allowed to rest.
est-ce que vous étiez libre de circuler
Were you free to move about freely on your day of rest? Could you, for instance, go back to your village to visit your family during your day of rest?
Answer: yes, we could make a visit, a short visit, and after that we had to return back to work. On day 10, that is the day that we were allowed to take a rest, we could ask our unit chief to go and visit our home for a brief moment, and after that we had to return back to work.
Alors, concernant le travail,
Now, regarding the work you did at the dam, is it fair to say that at the beginning you worked on the site, which was in the Baling commune territory, or you worked on a territory in another commune?
ខ្ញុំធ្វើការ
Answer: I worked in Balang commune, the place where the first January dam was situated.
Est-ce que vous pourriez nous en dire plus sur la difficulté?
Can you tell us a bit more about the difficulties you face in doing that task which involved digging earth and transporting it up to the dam? Can you explain to us how difficult that work was?
ចាលំ
Answer: We had to do hard work. We were hungry and we were tired.
Est-ce que entre l'endroit où vous creusiez la terre,
Between the place where you had to dig and where you had to pour the earth, what was the distance? Did you have to run or walk in order to throw the earth on the dam site?
Yes, it was far, about 200 meters away, so I had to carry earth from the bottom of the canal and brought the dirt to the up level of the dam.
est-ce que vous pouvez nous donner une idée du poids?
Can you give us an idea of the weight of each basket full of earth which you carried on a shoulder pole?
Answer: the total weight was about 30 kilometers, and we had to carry earth. And for me, I had to carry the earth from the spillway structure to the dam.
Quand vous dites 30 kilos, c'était 30 kilos.
When you say 30 kilograms, is it 30 kilograms per basket or for both baskets?
ពីរប្រគិ
The two baskets weighed about 30 kilograms. The one basket weighed about 15 kilograms.
Est-ce que ce travail très physique engendrait
Did such very physical work cause any kinds of illnesses or pains? Did you feel pains on the back, on your thighs, on your shoulders? Or did you also feel pain in your skin or your body because of that work?
President, Madam Witness, please hold on. You may now proceed, Antaguise.
Je n'ai pas de problème sur le fait.
I have no problem with the fact that the prosecutor wants to put questions to the witness, but he should avoid putting words in the witness's mouth. So he should ask open questions, because sometimes he asks questions and gives some answers in his questions with specific words, and the witness responds spontaneously. I do not intervene very often, but the co-prosecutor has been asking such questions. He should put questions to the witness in such a manner as to allow the witness to answer the questions without putting words into his mouth. I will move on to gain time. Transporting 30 kilograms over a period of 100 meters cause any physical pains?
Answer: yes. First, I had a physical pain over my body, but after a while, we got used to it.
យើងធ្លាប់ធ្វើរាល់ថ្ងៃទៅលែង
After we worked every day, we had no more pain, physical pain.
Est-ce que dans le district de Barai,
In Barai district, and where you work, that is in Baleng commune, was the soil rocky or stony or was softer? You said at the 6th January dam work site, it was easier to dig the earth. How about the 6th of January dam? Was it easier there?
Answer. There were many rocks in the site of the 1st January dam. For the 6th January dam, most of the soil under the dam were sand.
est-ce qu'on a utilisé en raison des pierres?
On account of the texture of the soil, were machines or explosives used to assist you in your work?
ចា
Answer. I noticed the explosive was used to break the rock. That work was carried out by the male workers. Women were carrying earth, and for men, they were carrying the broken rocks.
Monsieur le Président, je vais commencer.
Mr. President, I want to go into another line of questioning. If you would like us to take a break, I think this would be the right time. Thank you.
President, thank you. It is now convenient time for break. The chamber will take a break from now until 3 p.m. Court officers, please find a proper place for this witness and the supporting staff during the break time, and please return them into the courtroom at 3 p.m. The court is now in recess.